Today I want to show you how to make Tzit Tzits. For those of you who aren't familiar with what they are, I'm going to direct you to Numbers 15, starting in verse 37. It says, "Again, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel. Tell them to make tassels on the corners of their garments throughout their generations, and to put a blue thread in the tassels of the corners. And you shall have the tassel, that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that you may not follow the harlotry to which your own heart and your own eyes are inclined, and that you may remember to do all my commandments and be holy for your God. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God." So, what are they? They are tassels. We're told to have a blue thread in them and put them on the four corners of our garments. There's so many ways to do this. So many different videos you can find online in different ways. The one I like, you're going to be wrapping the Yud, He, Vav, He, or Yahweh. And why I like it so much is I like wearing his name on me, on the four corners. I think this is just my theory. I don't know if this is true. It's just my theory. When Jesus returns, it talks about that he has on his thigh the name that is above every name, Lord of Lords and King of Kings. And I have to wonder if it's not his Tzit Tzit. So, real quick, I'm going to show you. I have a pair of my husband's pants that I put some Tzit Tzit on, so you could see. I have two on the front. I have two on the back. That one's kind of over around the corner. But they're so easy if you have belt loops on how to put them on. I'll show you real quick before I show you how to make them. So they have a loop at the top, and all you do is you put the loop through here, and then take your two fingers and just pull the ends through, and it will go on your loop. If you don't have that, you can get mitten clips, and these are essentially the same thing. You just clip them onto the top of your pants, or you can even clip them on your pocket, which I sometimes just clip them on the pocket. So, they are to remind us to keep God's law. They are a biblical "what would Jesus do" bracelet. What did Jesus do? He kept the law. So we're told to put them on our four corners, and that they're to have a thread of blue. As you can see, I have one that I have done just blue only. I have some that I did blue and white. And this one, you can't really tell, it's blue, white, and yellow. So today, I'm going to show you, sorry I dropped something. I'm going to show you how to make Tzit Tzit. And we're going to tell you to pause so you can catch up. I recommend going all the way through the step until you see the pause before you pause the video. So the supplies you're going to need embroidery thread is what I use, at least one blue. I'm choosing to do the blue, an orange, and a green just because I like the colors together. You're going to need some sort of measurement. I have a tape measure here, and some scissors. These scissors are heavy duty. They were my Grammy's sewing scissors. So first thing you're going to do is you are going to measure out the two that aren't blue. You're going to measure them out to the 28 inches. So when you get there, cut it. Then you're going to need to do the next one, the same thing. Now for the blue, you're going to go a little longer because it's the wrapping thread. Or if you want to do a different color of the wrapping thread, whichever one you do, you're just going to want it longer. So I tend to do the blue. And it's going to be 32 inches. So there's your 3 strings. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put all the ends, line them up. So they don't, of course, don't have to be perfect, but pretty close. Line the 3 ends all up. You're going to take it, the end that you have lined up, and you're going to measure to 10 inches. And you're going to tie a knot. So from here, you're going to start braiding. You're just going to take these. Some people like to take their knot and put a safety pin into it to start braiding. I don't. So I just start braiding. As you can see, after I've braided it, I want to braid it to 4 inches. So once I get to the 4 inches, I'm tying a knot at the end of the braid. One thing I don't know if I said, on this, when you start braiding, you're going to go the longer end needs to be, you can see I have my finger on the knot. The longer end is where you're going to start braiding, not the shorter end. So now that we have our 2 knots, you might want to pause and get your 4 inches braided and the knot at the end. Now that you've got your braid with your 2 ends, you're going to take those 2 knots and fold them where they're together and tie a knot at the bottom of those. I kind of make mine encompass the 2 other knots. So now you have a loop for your Tzit Tzit. The next step is you are going to take the blue, the long blue string, the one that's sticking out the bottom. If you look at it, I'll lay it flat so you can look at it again. See how the blue is way further than everything else. You're going to take that and you're going to wrap it 10 times. And you're wrapping it 10 times because each Hebrew letter has a numerical value. And Yud, for the Y, what we know as Y in English for Yahweh, is 10. So we're going to wrap it 10 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keeping a hold of your blue string, you're going to take your other 2 strings and kind of use your fingers to get the other strings away from those 2 strings, the 2 longer strings. And you're going to make another knot. And I do 2 knots. Some people just do 1. I like to do 2 knots. 1, 2. Okay, here you're going to want to pause and do wrap your 10 and make your knots. Okay, so now you've got your 10 with your knots at the bottom. Now you're again going to take your blue string, and this time you're going to wrap 5 because you have Yud Hey, so the H in English. So 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, holding onto your blue, get your other 2 separated from all the rest of it, and tie your knot around all your strings. I don't know if that's showing that I'm getting all the strings tied up. So all your strings tied up in there. So now you have your yud hey. So we're going to pause. So now we need the vav, and that's 6. So we're going to wrap 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, taking your other strings, wrapping it around all strings to tie a knot. So pause here. Now your final step is to do 5 again, because you have yud, hey, vav, and now we have hey again. So your last wrap, again with the long blue string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to take your 2 longer strings and wrap them again, all the strings, into a knot a couple of times. And there's one Tzit Tzit. You need to do this at least 3 more times to make 4. I tend to make 5 or 6 because you always lose one. And so you always have a couple spares. After you're finished with the complete set, you're going to trim your ends even, however long or short you want them, and they're ready to go.